So how do you talk to your Apex? Are you using the latest app? Terence here again with a video to tell you all about our newly released iOS app. Of course, you probably noticed that the set here at Neptune Systems looks a little bit different. I decided to mix it up a little bit and add some live backgrounds behind me. If you like it, let me know in the comments below. For a couple of years now, Apex users have had the ability to access their aquariums from anywhere in the world on any device using the Apex Fusion Universal Web App. And of course, that's still the case today. However, our customers still asked us from time to time for a more integrated app experience on their iPhones and iPads. And we too wanted to take advantage of some of the iOS mobile features, such as fingerprint scanning for login and the native iOS notification service, so that customers could use that instead of text or email alerts. For these reasons, and because more than 70% of our customers use an iOS device to access their Apex, we decided to build this new app, and it's available right now in the App Store. So, in this video, I'd like to give you a tour of that new native iOS app, and hopefully you'll see enough goodness in there to go out, download it, and give it a try. This new app does require you to have an Apex Fusion account and have it linked to your Apex. Now, if you don't have these things set up yet, that's okay. Please check out the helpful links in the description below and you can get it all set up.
So if you don't have it already, download the app from the App Store. It's easy to search for just by using Apex Fusion. Once you have the app, open it up, and you'll be at the Apex Fusion login screen. The Apex Fusion app does require that you have an Apex Fusion account. If you don't, you'll have to go create one and link your Apex. I'll type my name in here, and then I'll type in my password. Now, the first time that you log into your app, it will ask you a couple of questions. The first question is going to be if you want to get the iOS notifications. I think most people will, so you'll want to tap on Allow for that. The next thing that will come up is that it will ask you whether or not you want to use Touch ID. Now, Touch ID is quite nice because if your device supports it, it can keep unwanted hands from making changes to your Apex when they borrow your phone or your iPad. When you first log in, you'll see a list of all the Apexes that you have access to. Go ahead and select your Apex. Once you select your Apex, you're going to be taken right to the Apex Fusion dashboard. For those of you that are already using Apex Fusion, the Apex Fusion app will look very familiar because it's pretty much identical except for that button bar along the bottom. For those of you not familiar with Apex Fusion or who don't yet have an Apex, you'll notice that the Apex Fusion app interface is quite robust and gives you access to everything on your Apex Aquarium controller. Now, the first thing I'm going to show you is how to simply interact with one outlet on your Apex controller. First, you have to swipe this little protector to the side. Then you can swipe that slider to the left to turn off the outlet. You can select Auto for its auto programming in the middle. Or you can even slide or tap to the right and turn it manually on. Now, if we want to configure that particular outlet, all we need to do is select the gear icon in the upper right of the outlet slider, and we'll be at the configuration screen. Now, configuring an outlet doesn't really require any programming for the most common tasks. For instance, we have a list of things that are the common things you might want to do on your Apex. In this case, I can even go down, pick a skimmer. It'll set it all up for me, including a delay when the feed timer goes off so the skimmer doesn't overflow. Now I'll select the outlet list to go down and configure one of my Lite outlets. In this case, my Philips Coral Care Lite. I can adjust the intensity of that light across the day simply by dragging and dropping points on the graph. Really easy. And if you have the new Apex, configuring probes and sensors is just as easy. Select the gear icon, and you'll get to the configuration screen where you can change the name of a particular sensor. In this case, I'll change it to Flow. You can even go to the Advanced tab and set the maximum and minimum alarms for a particular sensor. No programming necessary. All you do is move the slider bars where you want them. When you're done, go up the top and send it to the Apex. If you happen to have the new Apex with the Energy Bar 832, you'll also have a tile like this that you can click on, and you can see the power usage for each one of the outlets. You can even go and select one of the outlets and go right to the configuration screen. In the app, you can even go look at things like the network configuration. Just select the gears icon, then the network icon, and then you'll see all of your networking information, including your Wi-Fi information, right here. Now, one little tip here is if you go to the Advanced tab, you can even change the name of your Apex. Many people still have their Apex just named Apex, but if you put a different name in here, it'll actually show up in that list we saw in the beginning. After you make changes, though, you always have to hit that orange button. You can even configure and calibrate your probes right from the app as well. I'll just scroll down to the probe, click the gear icon, and then the configuration screen will come up, in this case for the pH probe. I can change the name of the probe, and here you can see I can even do the automatic probe calibration. There's so many great things you can do inside the app. How about advanced graphing? Let's go take a look at the salinity graph on my Apex, and we can see some really neat things we can do with that. So here's the graph. You can see over time my salinity along with the alarm level. And we can also compare this graph to other inputs and outputs on the same Apex. So let me compare it to the temperature in my aquarium. I'll go select that. Now you'll see that both of those graphs are superimposed upon each other, and I can compare temperature and salinity inside my aquarium. Pretty neat, huh? Now you can also select different zoom levels. For instance, we can zoom in at 1 day or 1 hour, or we can look at all of the data at once. But what's really neat is when you can compare the inputs and the outputs. In this case, we can compare my salinity to the solenoid coming off and on from my RODI. So every time that my aquarium calls for more water, it turns on the solenoid valve. And you can see here there actually is a correlation between the fresh water coming in from my RODI container, it's stopping, and then the subsequent rise in salinity in my aquarium. Now let's go take a look at another handy feature, the calendar and reminders in the Apex Fusion app. This is where you can place all of those things that you need to do on your aquarium and get reminders when they need to happen. Here I have a water change that will be due. Now how about logging those test kit parameters? Well, you can do that in Apex Fusion app as well. You can log your alkalinity, calcium, all of those different types of test kits that you use on your aquarium, so you can go back and see the history, and you can even compare that to other values collected by the Apex. It's really easy to use. And once you have that information in your Apex Fusion app, you can easily see trends over time. Most of the time, we don't log these things because it's hard to do. But in the Apex Fusion app, we have all the color charts, all the data, everything to make it just a couple of clicks, and you get that logged into your Apex. Here you can see me putting one in, and I can even put notes in that I can refer back to later on, even right from the graph. Speaking of notes, we often see or do things to our aquarium that we want to keep track of so we can refer to it later on. Well, there's a notes feature built right into the Apex Fusion app. Lots of categories, lots of things that you can put in there so that later on when you look back, you can maybe correlate that to some of the data you're collecting. Now, the last thing I'll cover is that the app settings are available through a gear icon in the bottom menu bar. There are a few things that you can configure in here. Some of the important ones might be turning on or off the Touch ID, or actually displaying the list of Apexes icon that you can get to simply by sliding this switch. That'll give you an extra icon in your menu bar. Selecting it will get you to your Apex list, so you can select any of your friends' Apexes, like Danny's here from the UK.
So there you have it, the new Apex Fusion iOS app. It's pretty awesome, so I suggest you go to the App Store now, download it, and give it a try. Well, thanks for watching. If you liked this video, as always, please let us know in the comments below. And be sure to subscribe to our channel so you'll know every time we release a new Apex video. Until next time, enjoy those fish.